Ladies and gentlemen, we'll start the program. It is my pleasure to introduce one of the real indispensable members of our Republican Dream Team, the best partner the governor could have. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcome Lieutenant Governor Becky Skillman.
Thank you. Eric, please know the governor and I, everyone in this room, thank you for saying yes to taking on this responsibility to lead our party. Let's give him a round of applause. If tonight's event is any indication of your performance, then job well done. And I think I speak for everyone in the room tonight when I say we can't wait to see what comes next. On an evening like this, with all of our friends and supporters here, I can't help but reflect on how quickly the last 7 years have passed. To think about going from being a little-known state senator to being second only to Mitch Daniels, but enough about Barack Obama. It was several years ago. I know it was during our first term, and Governor Mitch and I were chatting one day, and I said, would you ever consider running for president? And he said, yeah, right. I'll run for president when Evan Bayh becomes a correspondent for Fox News. But seriously now, the governor and I, we thank each of you for giving us this opportunity to lead. We thank you for the financial support, the moral support. We thank you for using your voice to encourage progress, reform, and change. Change does not come easy in Indiana. And yet, with Mitch Daniels at the helm, Indiana has seen a freight train of change. I do believe, however, having witnessed the nation's economic difficulties, that Hoosiers today have a much greater understanding of why we do the things we do, why we work so hard to be a fiscally sound state and an economically sound state. This responsible approach has allowed your state to maintain its solid foundation during tough economic times, and now we're ready to surge forward. As you know, we just completed this year's session of the Indiana General Assembly with amazing results, I might add. Regardless of the Democrats' 5-week walkout, If you have a legislator at your table today, will you please thank them for their perseverance, for their strength, for their courage, all the way to the finish line? We were very frustrated with the Democrat walkout, of course, but let's not forget who the real victims are here. The staff of the Urbana, Illinois Comfort Inn, really, would you like to place a mint on Pat Bauer's pillow every night? But we did get the work done. We did it on time. We adopted a state budget that is structurally balanced in the first year, with a projected reserve of more than $1 billion at the end of the biennium. We provided $150 million additional to our schools, including the completion of the funding for full-day kindergarten. We cut the corporate income tax rate by 2%, which only enhances our business-friendly environment and helps us provide more jobs. And most important, we did indeed put students first. You know, our public schools have produced so many success stories. Just look around this room here tonight. But you know, for our children and for our grandchildren, the competition is much greater today around the country and around the world. So now, Hoosier families, and regardless of their income, will have more choices to educate their children. And going forward, students and teachers will have the opportunity to be all they can be. You know, progress of this magnitude is not possible without strong leadership at the top. Now, I think I speak for our entire administration when I say Mitch Daniels commands and receives the best from us. You know, it has been a fast and furious 7 years of action, change, and progress. It was as early as 2004, Mitch Daniels said we were people of change, and he meant it. In 2004, Mitch Daniels said what we would do, and we did it. Now let's watch a video that showcases change that is working. Ladies and gentlemen, your Governor Mitch Daniels.
Thank you, everybody. All right, you rowdies. The annual meeting of Indiana's one and only Party of Purpose will come to order. Well, you're a record crowd. More important, there's a record take. Don't try to leave. You'll find the doors are locked, but as soon as the last check is cleared, you'll be free to go. We have a record number of guests with us tonight. Many have come a distance, it appears. Special welcome to all of them, particularly those young people who have come in large numbers because they're concerned about the future and the direction of this country, concerned about the raw deal they're being handed by current national policy. There's one of them at your table. Tell them, welcome to Indiana. We appreciate the effort and citizenship you showed in coming. Now, there's been a whole lot of speculation leading up to tonight. No sense beating around the bush about that. And despite our constantly telling everybody they're not to look for any great announcements or pronouncements, some insisted on expecting some. Now, this whole business of running for national office, I'm not saying I won't do it. You know, my friends know. My friends know that it's never been any intention of mine. As I told another audience recently, I always thought when I was done being governor, I'd like to go to some quiet place where nobody could find me, like Al Gore's cable network. But listen, all the noise and all the speculation is only natural. It's that time of the season after all. And there are an awful lot of people, really good people out there, maneuvering and exploring, jockeying for position. If we ever did try it, I really like my chances because, you know, if anybody's made for jockeying, it's me. What's important tonight is that we recognize why all that chatter has happened in the first place. And there's only one reason. And as I'm reminded on a daily basis by some article or pseudo-article in the national press, it has nothing to do with my looks or personal characteristics, which apparently are very deficient. I got to be the homeliest, most boring person was ever talked about for president, according to things I read. No, there is only one reason for any of this attention, and that is because Indiana tonight is very different. It is different from what it has been. It is different from the rest of America, and people are noticing. When people talk about great business climates, they talk about Indiana. When they talk about a state with great infrastructure in a nation of crumbling infrastructure, Indiana is the first state they talk about. When they look around for people who have searched for ways to creatively bring health insurance to low-income people, to conserve record amounts of our natural spaces and wetlands and beauty, and more recently, to bring reform to public education, to try to give every child, regardless of income or station, a better shot in life. It's Indiana that they're talking about these days. That didn't used to be the case. And I suppose as much as anything, what draws attention to Indiana, and therefore anyone associated with the progress here and to this room tonight, is in an ocean of broke and sometimes bankrupt states, people cannot help but notice the third lowest spending in America, a AAA credit rating, the fewest state employees per capita in the country, the lowest property taxes in the country, budgets balanced every single year, billions in reserve, debt paid down 40%. We are a state of people who takes care of the people's money and takes care of the people's business and never forgets where that money came from in the first place. There's only one reason Indiana is different. And this is something I hope each of you understands, but our guests may not. The only reason Indiana is different tonight is because the Indiana Republican Party is so very, very different. You know, I think this has been a source of frustration to our opponents for a long time. I think it's a source of confusion to outsiders and perhaps some of our guests. We just do not fit their neat little stereotypes of what a Republican is supposed to stand for, how a Republican is supposed to conduct himself or herself. We don't fit that little cartoon they carry in their heads. No, the Indiana Republican Party, this party of purpose, is known by what it is for, not what we are against. The only red meat when we get together for dinner is on the menu. We are too busy building a much better state for our children and their children to bash anybody. We are a party of ideas, but more important than that, a party that acts on ideas. Roads, schools, health care, all the basic government services, every single day we are looking for ways to improve them, to show that government can be limited but effective in all its activities. In fact, that it sees that as a sacred responsibility. And always, always, we are thinking about our central objective, the one toward which all those other activities are just a means to an end, and that is to build in our state, not just the nation's, the world's best climate of hope and opportunity, the most receptive environment possible for investment and jobs, to be the most inviting place on the planet for people of dreams, men and women of enterprise, to come together with their ideas, their capital, their ambitions, and to make wealth for each other and to hire Hoosiers along the way. We have said from our first day in the parking lot at Hinkle Fieldhouse, we were going to build the best sandbox in America, and look around you, friends, we have done it. The Indiana Republican Party is different in another respect. We are about a better life for everyone. We have campaigned in a way that said there will be no forgotten places in this state. There is no town too tiny. There is no inner city too bleak for us to go and visit and listen and make new friends. And we have tried to govern in a way that says there will never be any forgotten people in this state. In fact, this party takes as its first and primary commitment to make a better life for the folks who are not in this room tonight. It has not been our primary objective to see that people with a lot of money make any more. Our objective is to see that people with little or no money have a great chance in life to earn some. One day we want them to be able to fork over the $200 to come to a dinner like this if that's their choice. And lastly, the Indiana Republican Party believes in people. We believe it is not just the right, but within the capacity of every human being in our state, every human being in this free society of ours, to make the decisions that are important, that are central to their own future and to their own lives. We simply refuse to believe that they are incapable of making sound judgments about the futures of them for themselves and their families. We see them as creatures of dignity, not objects of therapy. And we have shaped all our policies that way. That's the kind of state Indiana intends to be. That's the kind of America we've always had and the kind of America we Hoosiers want to see happen once again. Give yourselves a hand that you deserve for what you've made this possible. Now the fun part. In 1975, I met a small-town girl, and it was one of those first sight things. I couldn't take my eyes off her legs. She couldn't take her eyes off the steak and shake double cheeseburger I was eating. Well, whatever works. We began dating, and I still remember what struck me most, the moment that I knew that I had to somehow trick this lady into spending life with me. It involved, like our life has involved, children. The woman is a magnet for children. We would be at some social occasion, and within 10 minutes, anybody in the room under 12 years old was talking to her. She just knew how to talk to them. She knew how to get them talking. She knew how to get them laughing. Still the same today. We got married, and Cheri became a businesswoman. She was in the business of producing beautiful young women. Astonishingly, they turned out to be even more beautiful in character than they are in appearance, and that's saying something. Then, life has always been a lot of fun, all the way along the way. You know, not too long ago, after a especially hard workout, I came upstairs, you know, dripping wet, feeling kind of macho. I said to Cheri, I said, what do you think all those national reporter types, you know, would say if they could see me now? She'd say they'd say I married for money. One night in 2003, though, we had a serious conversation. I said, I don't know what you'll think of this, but there are a lot of people who want me to run for office. In fact, want me to run for governor, something I'd never done, something we never contemplated doing. It does not overstate the case to say that this was not her first choice. But I said, look, honey, there's a whole lot about modern politics I don't think too much of. If I'm going to try this, we're going to do a lot of things differently. I'm going to compete differently. We're going to hit the road. We're going to go everywhere. We're going to see everyone who will see us. We're going to put the personal contact back in our public life. And if it works out, we're going to govern differently. Number one, we're going to continue being as accessible and as open as we can be. And we're just going to go for it. We're not going to take polls to figure out what we stand for. We're going to listen and learn, and when we decide what we think is right for the future of Indiana, we're going to go do it if it's doable. And I said, you and I can be different too. There is no rule book for this as far as I'm concerned. And I would never want you to be any different than you are. I will never ask you to be. I will never ask you to go anywhere you don't want to go. You can go anywhere you want. I hope you'll choose to do a lot, but it's entirely up to you. 8 years later, I think I can tell myself I've held up my end of the deal. Now, I had a suspicion. I had a very strong suspicion that if things went just that way, that the state would come to embrace and love its First Lady for her genuineness, for her authenticity. When she shows up somewhere, everybody knows immediately it's because she wants to be there. It's because she wants to be part of whatever is so important to them. Everyone can form their own opinion. I just love the way she's handled this role. Those who know her all now know all the reasons I love her. Those who don't are about to find out. My good friends, please welcome my wife, the love of my life, the mother of the 4 most beautiful daughters in the state of Indiana, my bride, your FL, Cheri Lynn Daniels.
Can you my favorite songs. This might be easier than I thought it was going to be. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate that warm welcome. And I have to tell you, when I was first asked to speak here tonight, I thought, wow, this is really a great honor. And then I thought, I wonder who canceled. Now, honestly, I thought I'd get a bigger laugh on that joke because that's one of Mitch's jokes. And he charged me $10 to use it. In the past, the keynote speaker for this event has always given a very politically inspired speech. Well, if you came here tonight expecting that, I'm sorry to report that you will be disappointed. But if you came here tonight with a sense of humor, you're going to have a really good time. Being the First Lady is many things. There's speeches, receptions, school visits, interviews, and so much more. Tonight, I'm going to share with you some of the really glamorous things that I get to do. And I think you're going to be a little surprised to find how similar my role is to the governor's role. For example, now Mitch, as the governor, gets to meet lots of very important people. Senators, presidents, prime ministers, but I also get to meet a lot of very important people. Now, you might recognize some of these people, some of our great mascots, and we all know Smokey the Bear and Trooper Teddy. I guess a lot of the VIPs I meet are a little on the hairy side. Now, there are a lot of awards that come and go. Mitch has received many awards over the past years, honorary degrees, plaques for all sorts of things. Well, I too have received some very prestigious awards. I think this speaks for itself, but I am an honorary Hooters girl. Thank you. And I've received a lot of first place ribbons at the Indiana State Fair. Now, some of you may have heard I have won the cow milking competition, the sheep showing, corn husking, and first place in the swine showing. And the pioneers at Pioneer Village crowned me Miss Maize in the year of corn. Now, I didn't get a diamond tiara. I hope you noticed that my crown is made of corn cobs. But awards come in many different shapes and sizes, and sometimes people are honored with a building, a highway, or maybe even a library named after them. You may not know that Mitch and I have had an even greater honor bestowed upon us. They want you to see the twins.
Oh, yeah.
There's little Cheri right there.
How you doing? I'm good. What night were they born?
First night we got here.
So this is my guy.
Hi. You looking for your bottle? You looking for your bottle? Yes, you're looking for your bottle. You, don't you? No. You're very tiny, girl. Yes, you are. You're so sweet, girl. Oh. Let's not get fresh. You have to admit that's pretty special. But one of the best things I get to do as being your First Lady is I get to go to the Indiana State Fair every single day. As most recently, 17 days. Now, some states are no longer able to have a state fair. But fortunately for us, our state fair just keeps getting bigger and better. And the reason our state fair keeps getting bigger and better is because of Cindy Hoy. Now, Cindy Hoy is the director of our state fair. And I got to tell you, I love Cindy Hoy. Cindy Hoy has this power over me. I cannot say no to her. She can ask me to do anything imaginable, and I say yes. As a matter of fact, it's sort of a joke in our household that if Mitch wants me to do something and he thinks the answer is going to be no, he has Cindy ask me. As a matter of fact, I think she asked me to speak here tonight. No, I'm only kidding. But every year at our fair, we have a theme. We've had the year of corn. We've had the year of the trees. We've had the year of the tomato. And last year, Cindy called me just a few days before the fair opened, and she said, "Hey, Cheri, can you come out to the fair and do a photo shoot?" And I'm thinking, hey, this is going to be pretty glamorous, of course. And she said, "Oh, and by the way, it's the year of the pig." So I said, well, okay. So I went out to the state fair. I go out and I walk into this pen with a bunch of little pigs. Now, I will say this, Cindy Hoy was not there. So the photographer tells me to pick up this little pig and hold it. Have you ever tried to pick up a little pig? Let me tell you, first of all, their feet start going in all directions, and when they say a pig squeals, they are not kidding. It is ear-piercing. So the photographer is patiently waiting for me to get this pig to pose. So I feel like, well, okay, what can I do? So I decide to just hold it close to me, and I start scratching him behind his ear. And it works. I mean, I'm thinking, I'm a pig whisperer. This pig was so sweet and quiet. We got all the pictures we needed. Photo shoot is over. I go to put the pig down on the ground, and he is eliminated all over my shirt. It was a double elimination, by the way. But Cindy Hoy has gotten me to do some pretty amazing things at the state fair. And as I said, it's 17 days of fun, if you like 90 degrees days. It has great food, great entertainment, but most of all, great people. And one of the things that Cindy tricked me into doing was get in a hot air balloon. And of course, you can imagine who the mastermind behind that was. Your governor. But I did go in a hot air balloon. I don't know if any of you have been in a hot air balloon before, but I can tell you there is a flame of gas about a foot above your head. There's no steering. It's completely done by wind. And I will say, thankfully, it was a safe flight, and my balloon was not the one that landed on the ramp off of 465. Very grateful for that. Thank you, Cindy. And she also talked me into being a judge for a Spam recipe contest. I've never had Spam before, and I really don't know what's in Spam, and I don't want to know. But I tested 19 different ways to cook with Spam. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, and here's the most unappetizing one, dessert. Yeah. The entertainment at the state fair is fabulous, and I think I fit in pretty well with KISS. And, sort of as a consolation to me for all the crazy things I do at the state fair, Cindy's always nice enough to get my favorite country singer, Keith Urban, out there a couple of times for me. And there is one little thing that goes on at the State Fair every year, and it's called the Elvis Impersonators Contest. Now, nothing could be a little more scary than having 10 Elvis impersonators sing to you. But they do every year, and it's always a fun event. And one year they actually gave me some Elvis sunglasses, so that was great. But the State Fair offers all kinds of different things. There's something for everybody out there. I love riding the trolley and announcing the stops. The axe throwing was probably a little edgy. And I'm sure there's some OSHA rule about throwing an axe in flip-flops. So I really need to work on that. But this just gives you a little idea, and this leads me to a few other things that Cindy Hoy has talked me into.
How are you?
Morning.
Cheri. They said you're looking for a job?
I'm looking for a job, yes, sir.
Your name is?
Cheri Daniels.
Hi, Cheri.
Hi.
You ever done this before?
No.
Put that coffee down.
Yes, sir.
You married?
Yes to the governor.
All right, start putting those on a plate. Go!
Where's the
Don't ask a lot of questions. Just put 4 on a plate and go.
You're kind of bossy.
Just like that. You put them on upside down.
What?
Side up, pretty side up.
Oh, that's how they're so perfect.
This is what happens when you're not smart enough to be governor. You got to make pancakes. Take a break.
Okay, break. Now can I have my coffee back?
Here's more plates for you.
Okay.
Start turning them over. Ready?
Start turning them over?
Go!
Yeah, stop making it a race. Oh, mine aren't going to be pretty, I can tell you.
So what are fun, exciting things you get to do?
Well, today I'm milking a cow,
So this is the highlight of your day right now.
spitting a watermelon seed, and sawing a log.
Have you milked a cow before?
Last year.
It's an annual thing.
I won last year.
Oh, it's a contest.
Yes, it is.
You getting loose? Are you ready?
All ready.
Are you psyched?
Don't touch the hands.
We have the defending champion here, First Lady Cheri Daniels.
I'm ready to go.
You notice that Cheri works songs at school. Go. You said go.
All right. Oh, yeah.
You guys watching this over there?
Yeah.
Dave, take notes behind the guy next to you. Check, you do. Oh, she is a pro.
Yeah, not really.
She's got a good streak going.
Come on, Belle.
She's standing up here, got her.
Come on.
Yes.
Keep rolling, Mom.
You got to get in the rhythm. I told Paul Petit, if you don't get in the rhythm, you'll cut your partner's leg off.
What are you telling him that for?
Well, he'll cut his leg
No
off.
pointers
He
to the
won't be able-
competition.
Trust me.
Gosh.
Trust me, my dear First Lady, he will not be able to do it. I'll bet you.
Now you promise this is good sharp.
That's been sharpened with a diamond stone.
Good grief.
2, 3, go! Uh-oh. Oh, wait a minute. All right, looks like we are. And the wing man. We tried.
It's very hard.
It's not easy being the First Lady. After that cross-saw competition and this baling of hay, one of the local newspapers dubbed me as surprisingly brawny. It's also very important when you're competing in the cow milking to go out and bond with your cow. So every year I go out ahead of time, I meet the cow, I talk to her, I practice milking her, all in the hopes of winning once again. So this year I'm going to give it one more try. Now you can see only Cindy Hoy could talk me into wearing that pioneer dress in 95-degree weather. But each year I do attend the state fair every day of its run. And I'm a little nervous this year because it's the year of the soybean. And I'm really not sure what Cindy's going to make me do, but I'm sure it'll be interesting and fun. Another part of my job is to participate in some charity events. And I love doing this because it's always nice when people are raising money to give back to others. And so one of my favorite places to go is to the Celebrity Chef event at Benihana for the Children's Bureau in Indianapolis. And I've gotten to partner with Dallas Clark and Terry Stacy. And then we've also started something in my office about 3 years ago, and it's the Hoosiers Helping Hoosiers food drive. We've collected more than 250,000 items and raised over $35,000 for local food banks. But one of the most memorable and fun charity events that I've participated in is the Senior Citizens Prom. Now, this event is a very simple concept. A celebrity dancer goes and partners with a senior from the Senior Center. Well, my partner was Don, and Don was an amazing dancer. He had been in competitions all over the city, had won all sorts of awards for his dancing, so I figure I'm in pretty good hands. So we practiced a couple weeks ahead of time, but the second time I went to practice with him, I kind of noticed that our routine kept changing. And it was going to be hard to remember exactly what we were supposed to do because he changed it every week. But the night of the prom comes, and I see Don there. I'm sitting at my table. We're at the Indiana roof, and I watch Don just gliding around the floor with some senior women just dancing brilliantly. And I'm thinking, we're in good shape tonight. So it was time for us to get ready and go do our number. And I go over to Don. I said, Don, how are you feeling tonight? He said, I'm nervous. I'm so nervous. I've had 3 whiskey sours. And I thought, oh boy. So we went out and did our number. It was not a dance I recognized at all. It was completely different, but I got twirled all over the place, and we did a pretty good job. So if you ever want to go to the Senior Citizens Prom, I highly recommend a few whiskey sours. So as you're probably getting the impression right now, being First Lady is very glamorous. There are many formal events to attend and lots of opportunities to dress up. However, my definition of dressing up may be a little different than yours. Now, Mitch has to make tough decisions every day, but I make the toughest decision of the year. What are we going to wear for Halloween? Each year, we dress up and pass out candy at the governor's residence to the neighborhood kids. And we usually end up giving out about 600 bags every year. So it's a big deal to figure out what we're going to be, and if any of you have any suggestions, please see me after this evening. But we've had some fun in the past. We've done the Wizard of Oz, the Pirates of the Caribbean, Indy 500, Grease. Actually, the best part of this was seeing Mitch in that ridiculous wig. And Alice in Wonderland. Now, Mitch's days are also filled with high-powered meetings and groundbreaking ceremonies for new businesses and entertaining dignitaries, and my days are pretty interesting too. For the past 2 years, I've partnered with Hank FM for a little segment we call Cheri's Chores. Listeners get to phone in chores that they'd like to teach me, and here are just a few examples.
First thing we want to do is kind of come up to him and let him know what we're going to do and what we're getting ready to do. And he's looking at us. His ears are pointing towards us now, so he's listening to us. And use little circles like this. So this is just giving him a little massage.
The First Lady is now an employee at Horsey Club Med.
Yeah. This is what you do for the governor every morning too, right?
Yes, every morning I brush his hair.
It's not every First Lady who can drive a dump truck and give you the parade wave at the same time.
Now, is the idea with this gravel shooter to make it as smooth as possible so you don't have to go back and rake it all out?
Yes, it is. With an experienced driver, they can lay it out right to grade.
Looks like we need to go get the rakes.
It's a lot of fun, but it was kind of fun to drive it. So I just want to know now, where do we go and get a beer after work?
You look great.
I feel like we should be in a prom picture.
And then to stop, you just ease off the pressure, push in, and pull up.
Look what I did. Oh, look, I'm scraping and twirling at the same time. Oh, the whole corner's coming off.
That's all right. That's gonna fall. Beautiful.
Nice.
Ta-da!
To back up this way and then back around. To back up in front of that purple car.
I'm going to back up in front of a purple car. I was more worried about wrecking the wrecked car. I'm going to pick the car up.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. See if you like that spot.
So you're hooked up, you're ready to go.
I did it!
So watch out, illegal parkers. Mrs. Daniels is on the case.
I always find it's good to bond with your cow just a little bit before you ask them to do anything for you. So.
When you put it up on the cow, just put it up easy. Because if you jump it up on it, that's when it scares her and she's gonna get it. You know?
Okay.
Now if you want to feel what it feels like, stick your finger in there.
Woo!
Okay, now just stand up and step out. And there you go, and you're already making milk.
Milk!
Oh, look at my milk! Oh, her milk. Bye. What's your pleasure, sir?
I would like a glass of lemonade, please. Can I have mint in it?
Absolutely.
Keep the change.
Oh, my first $1 and my first tip. We hope you enjoyed that.
Well, thank you very much, and please take the rest as a tip.
Thank you.
We got a tip from the mayor.
Lemonade, please.
No, I want to see your money.
Okay. I do have 20.
Thank you for the tip. I'm sorry.
I think I made a big mistake. I was going to buy my lunch with it.
We have just sold the 2 most expensive glasses of lemonade ever.
Has she ever made you lemonade at home?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, a little homemade. I've made it.
Did it cost you $15 a cup like you did today?
No. The price was a little steeper than I expected today, but it's a good cause.
Now, if any of you know Mitch, you know that getting him to pay $15 for a glass of lemonade is pretty darn good. But just in case you didn't notice, he did try to get change. One of the things that is very important to me is literacy. I love to read, and I knew I wanted to make children's literacy one of my main initiatives as First Lady. So for the past 7 years, I've been visiting schools all over the state and reading to children and answering questions. Now, Mitch is faced with answering questions from reporters, but reporters aren't the only people with inquiring minds. I've been asked some pretty interesting questions by school kids. One of my favorite ones is, are you the very first lady in the world? Did you come in a limo? Who does your hair? How much money does the first lady make? I think my check is in the mail. And my personal favorite, what's your favorite carnivore? Another one of my initiatives has been heart disease. Heart health is very important, and I have a very personal reason for taking on this cause, and that is because my mother had heart disease, and we have learned in recent years that it is the #1 killer of women. So I decided it would be a good idea to take this message all over the state and teach people how they could improve their heart health. So I created a program called Heart to Heart. And Heart to Heart began as a program that just went to college campuses, and we spoke to young women, and we decided that this would be a good target audience because it was a good age to get them to start making heart-healthy habits. But the program grew, and we've started taking it to women's groups and hospitals all over the state. One of the things we do to promote heart health and to make people aware is we have a walk at our state fair. Every year, it's called the Heartland Walk for Health. It's free, and it is not a race, but it's a walk, and everybody comes out. We give lots of information, and we have free screenings, and we usually have about 600 people or more there, and we'd love to see some of you there next year. But it's something that's very important, and it's important to all of us as Hoosiers. But the best thing about being the First Lady is that there's no job description. You can make it your own, you can do whatever you want with it, and that's what I've tried to do. In all seriousness, being First Lady has given me the opportunity to travel all over our state and meet lots of wonderful, wonderful people. I truly appreciate the encouragement you've given Mitch, which has enabled him to do some incredible things for our state. On behalf of our entire family, I thank you for your ongoing support and kindness, and for allowing me to share some of the funny and memorable moments I've had as your First Lady. Thank you. Now you stay there with me just a second and stand there right beside me, because then I've got some people. I love you, you did a great job. I love all the things too.
Well, this is a surprise, but I am so delighted that more Hoosiers and our out-of-state guests as well learn more about Cheri Daniels tonight, because to know her is to love her. And you now have a little better understanding of Cheri Daniels' work and her fun, of course, and how she makes a great contribution to this state. You know, she is refreshing. She is authentic. She's obviously funny. And she's different, you know, than the more political first ladies of the past. But while she has never sought out the spotlight, I know how much she does. I know how much she cares, how much she travels around the state of Indiana. I know how passionate she is about her very special initiatives, heart health, children's literacy, and fitness. You know, I send her little notes of gratitude and encouragement from time to time, and especially when I hear from Hoosiers who tell me what a great job she's done in their community. But Cheri, you know, we've never had just the perfect opportunity to show our affection for you or to let you know how much we thank you for your great job performance until tonight. Now, there's a few things you need to know first. You know, I want to tell you first that if you haven't learned by now, Cheri is the queen of the Indiana State Fair grounds. Now, she's not the State Fair queen. We have one of those. But she is the queen of hearts. She is the queen of hearts among everyone who plays a role in the State Fair. You mentioned Cindy Hoy, our State Fair director, who loves you. All of the volunteers at the Pioneer Village as well. All of those who work in the livestock barns, everyone loves Cheri Daniels. So, to show our appreciation, we present to you your very own official engraved Indiana State Fair official milk pail, First Lady Cheri Daniels. Now, you see, this does double duty. It's for her cow milking contest, of course, but you can use this for the seed spitting contest as well. Better yet, there's a surprise inside the bucket. We wanted you to have something that was a little more memorable and long-lasting. So there's a very nice deluxe state-of-the-art sports watch here. Now, you may not know, but this woman practices what she preaches. Cheri Daniels walks 10 miles a day and has done so for years. So this sports watch will be a great fit for you. And a little necklace, too, with the charm initials FL, because all of her friends call her FL. We love you, Cheri. Thanks for all you do. Let's stay here with me a minute, and I'll close out and let everybody do it. Okay. Great job. Great job. Well, we certainly thank everyone for sharing this evening with us. As you can see, we are proud of the Indiana story. We have no intention of slowing down. There is just too much at stake. So thanks so much for all of your support. Thanks for being here tonight. Good night, everyone. I know. Everyone always feels that way. It's natural. Natural.
Grab my paper stick.
We hope.